Hey,
Hey, what's
what's
going
up?
on, buddy?
Nothing, buddy. What's going on with you, buddy?
Yeah, nothing. Same day,
Jesus
different
Christ.
stuff.
Oh, it feels it.
Same day,
It
different stuff.
it feels it tonight, brother. That's what we got here.
Also, before we get into this, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe with that notification
Right
bell
there.
on. All right,
That
gotta remember
um
that. Also,
that
gotta say
below.
just to verify, just gotta verify both.
Yeah. If you can't hear it, then you read it.
Read
That's
it at the
the
bottom
deal.
as it scrolls across. Got that
Okay.
right. All right, let's get
Upload
into this, Jeff.
content. Let's do this. All right.
I'm gonna
We
upload
have
content.
AEW Dynamite for May 12th. This is the first one since Blood and Guts. So obviously, the hype was around the Yuji Nagata John Moxley match because of it being the IWGP US title being featured on a show that was not New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And
Um,
outside, yeah, that's the first time outside
and
of
outside of
New
it.
Japan. Yeah.
hmm So the match was very good. It was very quick, I guess you could say. Um, it was incredibly quick.
So,
It
so
was
what did you think about the intro music that they changed him to? They got the wild thing now for Mox.
it's a nod to uh, an old Japanese hardcore wrestler.
Yes,
That's why
but
he did it. So it was like it wasn't like a haha, we tricked you guys. It was literally it was just a nod to
so
whoever
it's only
this
a
legend
one-time thing.
was.
You're saying?
I'm not 100% to be honest with you.
Well, I heard about
Um,
the nod part. That's what I'm saying. But I actually did like his original music.
I
But
don't
it was
know
kind of like,
because
oh,
it
like I
might
understood
just
the
be
nod.
it might be a special edition music kind of thing, like to
Okay,
do that for like kind of like we'll talk about in a moment with Cody, where Cody's
okay.
not going to look any different, Cody's not going to be any different, but he wants to be announced as the American
I
Dream
can.
for his
Yeah,
next match. Okay, so it's the same difference, really.
yeah. We'll
I
talk about that.
don't know. No one. I haven't seen anything that says whether this music is going to be temporary or full time. Even though I could see
Okay.
in front of a full crowd people singing "Wild Thing" during his
Wild thing. Yeah,
entrance,
exactly. That's what I said. The people would
and
love it, but like
that
I
would
liked
blow up.
his old music too because I thought it was
And a
like it
lot
would
of
fit
people
him.
do. I like his music, but you never know. It might be like the best. It might be the best and the worst.
Yeah, so
I think.
I don't hate it. It was just different,
Mm,
and I was like, oh, okay. I was thrown off by it, but I just want to see your thoughts on it. All right, so back to the match.
yeah,
We don't gotta go crazy
especially
with it.
for a guy like that, which is you don't expect him to be like you expect heavy metal, you don't expect Wild Thing,
Yeah,
a song that's
exactly.
over 60 years old. But
Yep.
I guarantee in a full stadium, if he puts that on, ooh wait, that is going to be like a Judas thing. The way they sing Judas, it's going to
Yeah,
be like ten
exactly. You
times
could.
harder.
These are him
So
going wild thing. Bum,
yeah,
bum, sorry.
I
Anyway,
think see you wanted to start singing already. So this match between Nagata and Moxley was pretty basic. You can tell that Nagata is beyond his years a bit. He
he's
was
putting
much
some hard kicks
slower.
on him though.
Oh yeah. He put some solid shots. He got him bleeding, which
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be
Happened last
Dynamite if
quite
John
often
Moxley
tonight.
doesn't bleed. Yeah, it seems like it should just be called Wednesday Night Blood and Guts. And Dynamite can be a special edition. It'll be the one episode no one bleeds. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, so it was basically they were exchanging some of their forearm shots. They were going head to head. They were kind of like the bout of wits kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought that the Death Riders slash Paradigm Shift. I don't think they even knew what they're supposed to call it in this match. Like, yes, he's
Yeah,
on Dynamite, but he's doing New Japan thing. In New Japan, that move is called the Death Rider.
that's right.
But
Yeah,
in
exactly.
here, it's called the Paradigm Shift.
Paradigm
Is
shift.
it the Paradigm Death Rider Shift? I don't know what we. It
The
has multiple
paradigm
names.
death. That's what it is.
Oh, Paradigm Death
Paradigm of death.
Shift
Yeah.
Rider. Shift Rider.
You don't need to
Yeah.
add the shift or the rider. Paradigm of death, and you're good. The
But
death
yeah,
of the
so
ship.
he did dominate the match for the most part. But then Nagata did catch him with an exploder for a 2 count, so we did get a couple of 2 counts in there.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it was a very he got him with a kick, and I thought he was just kind of set him up for like a regular suplex, and somehow bang, Death Rider 1, 2, 3.
Paradigm
Afterwards,
shift, whichever.
hands up, congratulations, legend.
Then the bow at
It
the
was
end,
very
though. The
cool.
bow at the end
And
was
then
I
and then
was
the
very respectful, and I enjoyed that.
John Moxley is a very John Moxley is a very respectful person of the business. You can tell that like he respects the business in a whole, not just he's not one of the people who come from a place like WWE and doesn't really know much about wrestling. They just know a lot about sports entertainment. You know, like
he knows
an
a lot.
Eva
But
Marie.
he had a life before WWE, and that's where he learned his respect, and earned it all.
It's just good. It's still there. So yeah, he hit that. That was the end of that monster match. It's cool to see. I hope that there's more New Japan stars coming over to defend the title against. I think that'd be really cool. Moving right along. Next, we have Cody's announcement. And when Cody says he's making an announcement, make sure you lock down that TV for 10 minutes because he's going to have a microphone. He's going to talk on it. And he will not shut the hell up. But I do enjoy his promos for the most part. So this was another good promo on the good old Englishman, Anthony Ogogo.
The gut puncher himself.
Basically telling everybody that, or telling Anthony Ogogo, you talk bad about America, you talk crap about America, you act like you don't respect America, but you take our money without an issue. You're not here to live the British dream. You're here to live the American dream. And basically, it's that epic kind of common sense thing of the battle between countries. It's always been a thing in wrestling, you know, like whether it's Sergeant Slaughter, whoever it may be. It's like a never-ending thing in classic wrestling, which is obviously why Cody is choosing this because Cody loves classic wrestling.
So the one thing you have to hit on is that the bad mouthing of the U.S. didn't really show on TV or even in their YouTube shows. It happened on his Twitter where he was talking trash about it and how much he hated America. That's where this all came from. Just give the people who haven't seen it. That's where it all came from.
I feel like he had one or two spots on either Elevation or Dark where he said, you know, American crap kind of stuff. Like it was not. I don't know which one.
All the stuff came from Twitter though, saying it all screw America and all that stuff. That's where the majority of what Cody's promo was coming from though this week.
But like, because the whole irony to that whole thing is that like, at the end of the day, AEW is all over the place, so you're not going to catch every storyline, so you got to catch them up quick. But basically, he hits you with that rant. He almost tears up when talking about like, you know, in Jacksonville, this many years ago, blacks and whites were separated, and now he's about to have a baby girl who's both black and white and won't have to see through any of those lenses, saying basically how far we've come as a country. And then he just brings out the old, you know, there's a sword that only me and my brother can hold, and it's a heavy sword, but for one night and one night only, I'd like to be the bearer of that sword. And this is just towards you, Justin Roberts, when announcing me, I want to be known as not the American Nightmare tonight, but I want to be known as the American Dream. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think if they were able to somehow honor him with, you know, some kind of like, you know, get up or something. He said he wouldn't change it. So, but I think that's pretty cool to be the American Dream for a night to fight off of.
That'll be emotional as hell for him. Definitely.
So I think that's going to be completely cool. So,
so that's our match at Double or Nothing, though. That's one match. We have a few minutes to talk about. That's one of them.
Right. One match already announced. Then we have the before this tag team title match, we have the Inner Circle, the three members that remain, letting the Pinnacle know that just because they apparently got Santana arrested for stabbing people with forks.
Yeah, I heard.
The actual reason is he's sick. He does have an illness. That's why he actually didn't show up to Dynamite. But I like how they're going that way. Like if you think about it, and we go to like the other companies, right? If someone does something that's technically illegal, if you know, obviously it's wrestling, but like they do things illegal per se, they always just like there the next week or something like yeah, he's sick, but like they're following through. Like, yo, listen, we press charges because he just stabbed somebody with a fork, and that's a weapon. I mean, it makes sense, especially being quick, you know, to think of that. So basically, they said that if you don't give them a rematch, your coronation will become your funeral. Young Sammy Guevara said. So that was it for now. We'll find more. There will be more intertwining coming up. But next up, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. You kind of knew where this was headed.
You did, but you had a great promo beforehand about the FCU thing.
I like that they did it on BTE as well.
That's why, yeah. This should be on Dynamite. Click.
Yeah, and he gave him a little, which was good.
Gotta love the Bucks.
So this match was, they gave it a lot of time, which I was very happy about. Like, they gave it a ton of time to work, because these four have worked with each other so much over the last 10, 15 years of their lives that this is a easy out of the park match.
Yeah,
it's not. It doesn't
something like that. Something crazy.
It doesn't take a lot. Yeah, it does not take a lot for them. So it was 40 times or something like that, but like head to head, straight up.
I knew it was double something.
What was it? Head to head in that exact duo. It was
like
ties 6-6 or something like that, or 20-20, whatever it was. This was the match that would decide who's the better team, regardless. So it kind of worked out well for everybody. So obviously, so Daniels gets busted up in this one. He was bleeding like a little pig. He's bleeding like a stuffed pig, as JR would say. So it was, he bled a lot, and
they opened them up in the eye.
They dripped on the $5,000 pair of sneakers.
He made a
Matt Jackson had a nice spot where he pulled the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair. He screamed, "I'm sorry," and then "I love you," and then kicked him right in the face.
And then he kicks out of that, though.
That's the best part great heel shit on that. Though. Great heel shit. I like it.
I think my favorite part had to be Frankie Kazarian staring at everybody on the side and Don Callis up at the commentary booth. I don't know how much you enjoyed that, but I enjoyed that a lot.
As he hits the Styles Clash?
Yep, he hits that Styles Clash. Now, and they called the Styles Clash, too. I was like, wait a minute, they called that? I was like, hold on. I was like,
isn't that like owned by AJ? I'm assuming it's not owned by WWE now, but...
Well, if it's owned by AJ, it's fine. But if it's owned by WWE, that's what I'm saying. Right. That could be an issue.
So that's why I'm wondering where, like, exactly. So I'm wondering where they're going to go with that, with him being, with him being with a different company. If it's just AJ, I feel like he'll laugh it off. Like, okay, I see what you guys did.
Yeah.
Touche.
It was bad because, like, he puts his one foot behind him. He starts smirking and holds him like, you know what I'm
like,
do. Puts the other foot.
Looks like he's about to Styles Clash him.
Exactly. That's what I thought, too.
I don't think they're allowed to do that.
That was great.
So he hits him with that Styles Clash. Obviously, that does not get the win. But at the end of the day, they do wind up getting Daniels with the BTE trigger for the victory.
So speaking of that, so when Daniels messes up to go to hit the BME, right? Do you think he did it on purpose to play off the fact that he was all bloody to then hit? Like the second time it was like boom, 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 and drills it, and they still.
If he might have literally slipped because of the fact that like the ropes were bloody, like he.
I was like, do you think it was that, or do you think he purposely botched it? Like
he might have just showed like that
how tired he was, like the blood, because like they pointed out like, oh man, the blood.
They jumped on it pretty fast, so I'm assuming that it was like. It was it was either a smart audible by the announce team or it was planned.
You have a pretty good announce team there, I will say that. So
yeah,
it could have been.
It could have been that as well. So obviously, the Bucks would win and retain. There was no surprise here. So now they're retired as a team.
Probably as I think Dan was done forever at this point, though. I think
so too. I think he's just cool being behind the scenes and doing whatever is needed there, without having to actually do, the other stuff. So I think that's going to be great because Frankie is a killer wrestler. He's going to be perfectly fine doing single stuff. We saw him in that match with Christian Cage, not even a month ago. Match. And that was a killer match. The dude can go. So this is going to be let Frankie go. I think you turn him heel and let him do something as a heel. Period.
Well, you already have Scorpio though going heel. I don't know,
but they're technically not together, so who cares?
But they still respect each other. I mean, it'd be great to see a Frankie Scorpio match to see who's the number one contender sometime in the near future. That's all I want to say.
I would like that. That I would like. I'm with you 100% on that. So yes, BT Trigger hit. Yeah. After the match, the cameras cut to the back where you can see Young Mox and Eddie Kingston are trashing the Elite's locker room. So that's just a little bit of foreshadowing for what we get after that. So obviously, I believe they go to commercial, come back, and I don't know if it's before or after this match. We don't really care. The order is kind of be messy right now anyway. Matt Jackson, and he's in the back with the Elite. They all find out that their room has been trashed. Anderson says, "How dare they throw our chairs around? This is where we do our prayer circle," which was funny to me, considering they're all they ever talk about kidding. So
kidding,
you can only kid so much in there. Now it's
in a prayer circle.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. That's going to send you straight to HE double hockey sticks.
This is where they are talking about. Yeah. Anyway.
So, obviously, but also in that Daniels and whatchamacallit match, it was something that was kind of not said at first was they had that happen, and then they went backstage right away to the Moxley thing before you really got to properly, write off Daniels and Kazarian.
Yeah, I was kind of upset about that part of it.
But then after the commercial break, they came back and they showed them in the ring and they gave you the recap of during the commercial break, these two hugged it out as it's the last time they'll ever be together.
Yeah, but I don't care. You still should have. Yeah, but I get it, but you should have had it.
You probably could have done the commercial cut a lot later than that.
I thought you could have done the commercial and then gone to the Moxley thing. But
it honestly just seemed like they were really trying to jam pack this episode. I did hear that I was not aware of until today. This is the last time they're going to be on Wednesday for a month because of the NBA playoffs and all. They kind of move.
Oh,
so they're going to be bouncing. So they're going to be bouncing around from day to day. So we don't know if it's. I think next week might be up Friday. They might be going head to head against SmackDown, which is the only other good show on there outside of So I don't know if they'll do a couple Fridays, a couple Thursdays, because Thursday, I don't know if Don Callis would be pumped about you going up against his actual show. How can Kenny be in both places for those 3 weeks?
but they have to, they have to do because of TV. Right. I mean, that's the issue.
I think you're going to see Fridays.
As much.
You might see a Saturday night Dynamite. I think you're going to see.
We had those last time. We had it last year too.
Yeah. So I forgot about that. So I think they said they're jamming a lot in because this is the last week you're going to get ratings for a while. Because your ratings aren't going to be great the next few weeks because people are expecting to see it on Wednesday, and now it's not there. So I think that's really the big thing. Please do not knock my shit over. So after we have that, we go into the World Title Eliminator match. Jesus Christmas, this match was delivering until somebody accidentally delivered a little too hard. So this match was going on. I read afterwards what was really supposed to happen was the 20-minute draw.
Time. Yeah.
It was supposed to still be a triple threat match, but it was supposed to be a 20-minute draw and not the stiffest super kick on God's green earth. They're saying
then other people are saying it was the jump out of the ring that he did. They're saying that was the possible.
It does kind of seem it, but when you show that kick, he went down. And he did not get initially when Pac came right back around to grab his head to pull him up for the grapple, he wasn't moving. Yeah. And I guess after a second, the lights came back on, and he was available enough,
but he wasn't there
to get that power bomb because he had to double jump on the power bomb. If you watch it, Cassidy, he did a double jump to push himself up. So I think it was his timing and equilibrium was all off. And he takes that sit-down power bomb, and then after that, when he realized that there's a 1-2, and he barely kicked out of it, and he didn't really kick out of it. It was kind of Pac had to sell the hell out of it. And when he looked over at Aubrey, she was like, "Let me see him," and you could tell right then and there that it was uh-oh. But I think one of the greatest.
I like the audible they called though. I do like the audible they called in this, but I've heard. So I mean, now I've heard. That's why Miro won't ever do a thing with Pac anymore because he hurt him back in WWE days. That's why he'll never do anything because he's a dangerous worker at times. It's what I've heard him say. So that's why Miro won't ever do a thing with him again. But
that makes sense.
I mean,
that's his choice.
I mean, has he hurt anybody? Didn't he hurt one of the other guys before in a match?
I feel AEW? He has in AEW or WWE. I feel like there's another person he might have hurt in WWE too.
Yeah, I feel like he's in AEW though as well.
He's a strong worker, so I think that sometimes that's.
I mean, he's a great wrestler.
The wrong person's not good. So.
Yeah, you just hate to see it because, dude, did
he hurt Kenny when they were in their feud last time?
Maybe it was Kenny he hurt. Could be. Yeah, I mean, listen. The fact is thankfully Cassidy's okay, so I'm okay with that. But we're getting what they wanted anyway. We're getting a triple threat match out of this entire thing, and that's all we care about.
That's match number 2 that's been announced for.
Well, that's 3 technically, just 2 tonight.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like tonight so far, that we have had 2 announcements on matches for Double or Nothing so far. So obviously after this, we have the coronation of the inner circle of the Pinnacle. Okay, so the Pinnacle finally gets to do their thing, and MJF gets to talk his crap. Sorry, I clock back in, or else I'll die. Okay, cool. Now I'm back in. So basically, MJF comes out. He says he did exactly what he said he was going to do. They handed the mic to Tully Blanchard for about 5 minutes too long in my book. He was starting to scream a lot, and I don't think he totally understood what he was saying. I think he expected less time to be talking before the inner circle came out. Yeah. Also, I like how they gave them Rolexes without saying they gave them Rolexes, like a 4 horseman thing, because Ric Flair would beat them with a stick if he said you can roll and ride up in Rolexes. So it was just expensive watch. It wasn't Rolexes. They all got expensive watches. So then they relive one of the most iconic WWE moments in history, and they do it their own way. So the inner circle comes out in this little golf cartish thing, and it's just Sammy, Hager, and Ortiz. And you think that's the 3 remaining members. MJF has got done just talking his ass about how beep, 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 beep. So I'm going to start doing that thing. I'm going to start beeping myself. So they pull them out, and they show on the side, it says a little bit of the bubbly. So right then and there, you should kind of know when you see Sammy's on top with a water gun that instead of milk from Kurt Angle, instead of beer from Austin, they do their version, a little bubbly edition. So Jericho pops out of the back
with his arm all
crazy slang on, with his metal everywhere, and he says, "Are you going to give us a rematch?" And Maxwell Jacob Friedman, my JO friend, says, "No." And he says, "I'm sorry, could you say that again?" I said N-O. No. And Jericho said, "Okay." He said, "Go." So Sammy just starts
lays into them,
firing at all of them. Bang. And so takes them all out. You know, the classic stuff. Everybody's falling in the ring and falling over.
Not as good as Ortiz does, but yes.
Right. Yeah, no, nothing's good as Ortiz with the orange juice. He was swimming in it and everything. But then MJF still somehow, because he's such a smart dude, wound up getting the upper hand here. So he got mad at all this and says, "Okay, I will give you a rematch. But hey, I'm gonna give you a rematch in a gimmick match that you yourself already lost. We're gonna do Stadium Stampede 2." And I'm like, "That's fantastic. I love the Stadium Stampede. It's gonna be a good match." And then he said, the stipulation, the big stipulation, if the Pinnacle wins again, the inner circle must break up forever.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't expect it to happen, only because we just saw SCU break up, and I feel like it's going to be the reverse now. I don't see it happening.
To me, it depends, because if it's something where like Jericho's ready to go out and just do his thing, you have enough. Like,
and these guys have built themselves up. Yeah,
they can all push momentum. Like then Ortiz and
or
they can pull that name.
He says the inner circle. He didn't say that they don't have to be called the outer circle next.
Right. Like they could switch it up. I just think it's something that at the end of the day, it's to write off Jericho. I think Jericho's just going to go away. He has Fozzy stuff to take care of soon. Touring starts. So I think that he's going to pull away for a few months. Yeah. Maybe they are like dismembered and not able to like, you know, they're doing their own thing because the leader is gone. So you might see them as like just kind of like the Shield. They broke up, but they're friends, but like, you know, but they just can't call the Shield no more.
I think like, the one thing I wish is that Jericho wasn't here for this. That's all. I wish they would have sold his injury.
Yeah, I kind of was like for him to be back already.
Like I will say, out of all the injuries they sold everybody's injuries really well in AEW up until this point. Like Jericho's the only one who got hurt but didn't show up, but showed up.
Right.
Like all the other guys have been out for at least a week or two. Like listen, those 3 guys could have carried that still promo without Jericho and still have gotten the same results. Even if you put Jericho in his bed at his house and did it from a screen real quick. And I know we don't like the screen gimmick thing, but I think I would have enjoyed that more than him actually being on the show. Again, listen, I still loved it. I've been saying to sell his injury more, but that's just to show he's a legend and he's not going to sit down. I mean, I get it, I do, but
see, and because I honestly thought that that at Double or Nothing we'd be getting Jericho MJF, not a literal second group match. You know what I'm saying? I thought it would be 1-on-1 again. But a lot of times with something like a Stadium Stampede match where it's like anything goes anywhere, that's when you're going to get some kind of surprise, whether it's a surprise addition, whether it's a surprise heel turn, or it's a surprise face turn. Nobody really knows, but I think that's where
you want Samuel to turn. This is where Samuel will turn just for you.
And he'll turn. If he would turn, on Jericho there and get him out, and that'd be it. So we'll see. So basically, that is it. And that is, as we just said, that is yet another match that is now announced for Double or Nothing. So now the stories can really continuously build on what we have going here.
And this is the purpose. They're building for the pay-per-view because of what's coming up with the NBA playoff. That's really what they're doing here.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, next we have Jim Ross. He interviewed the doctor, DMD. Basically, it was just her touting, which was very true. It was a good interview. She was saying how, like, good for Sheeta for holding down the fort during the COVID era of Dynamite. But with her, you need a machine. But with Doctor, she is the heartbeat. So when you have a heartbeat, you can live free. So with her not in there, the women's division was on life support. But with her running the division, it's thriving and living on its own. Which I guess you could say is true, though, because since she has come back, she has put on classic matches. With her and Thunder Rosa, I think, are the two who really raised this thing. And you're starting to see it gives the other women a chance now to be paid attention to, because now you're getting two people who are doing that. I like the respect
she showed her as a heel, but still gave it to her. She basically learned from Jericho. Never talk down your opponent. Because if you do end up losing, it screws you. But at least talk them up to the point. Like she definitely got that from Jericho, and I love that fact of like how great she is at promos. Listen, she could have gotten it from her boyfriend Adam Cole. Like he has great promos too. But like, you know what I mean? Like between him and like everyone else in the backstage AEW, like her promos are on point, and I loved everything she said here.
Yeah, so it was a good promo, good setup. Because this is one of them feuds. This is why the only reason I kind of say that, like, this is one of the reasons Baker really needs to win this match is Sheeta is an incredible wrestler, but they never gave her a mouthpiece. So by not giving Sheeta some sort of mouthpiece,
they didn't even let her defend the title that much. 3 defenses.
But there's never a story. You can't tell stories if she can't speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you needed to give her somebody so that it made sense. So that you could, like, the storylines were just very fight oriented, you know, and that's great. But like, you got to drive the entertainment, which drives the match. If you want to tell
stories
a story
were
in the match,
lacking.
Sometimes,
in general, the women's division has been lacking in storytelling. That's another thing.
Starting to get there now. You're starting to get there.
But AEW, that's the one thing that, again, I love AEW. That's the one thing that they've lacked in terms of storytelling is the women's division as much. But like I said, they are getting back into the storytelling. Like the great storytelling they told between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker for months on end was fantastic. But like that was the only storyline you have in the women's division. You have nothing with the women's champion over here. You have nothing. Now they have something sort of with Nyla Rose a little bit over here, but just as she's a beast. You're work on this Jade Cargill thing. Like they have certain things going, but it's not to the extent of the men's division.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the things that because they kind of were so behind the eight ball when it started, like they didn't push the women as hard. You can't expect it to be at the men's level today. But you can tell now that the effort is being put in, that you are building these stars so that, because guess what? I'll be dead honest with you. When AEW first started, I didn't really care for Britt Baker. I thought we were getting something that was much better than what we were advertised. We were advertised that the reason you signed Britt Baker first was because she was the best independent on the market. And as a face, she was not good. She's not a good face. And at that time, her wrestling skills were highly lacking compared to the Rihos of the world
Rio was fantastic.
who was just a
I
fantastic
enjoyed
wrestler.
It's not that it wasn't that her promos weren't great. It's just she didn't have the promo skills at that point. Like it wasn't she was a bad face. It was just that I think she had the promo skills that she's definitely gained over time.
Some people are just natural heels, like a Randy Orton. I don't want to see Randy Orton be a good guy because he's just not that good at it
now. So get over it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's still pretty funny
really.
because he's
still RKO
RK Bro. Okay, he's like the heel of the RK Bro gimmick, and I think it's a hilarious gimmick. By the way, it's great because Riddle just is a doofy stoner, and it's like being like his parole officer the entire time, where he's like, "Whoa, we're both from Earth. Shut the hell up." It's good stuff. Anyway, get out of there. So now we have Britt Baker, top of the division. I think give her the title and let her run.
I think
so after this, just kind of like to keep things, I guess, to create whatever the next big feud is going to be once Britt gets her title they're going to revisit Thunder Rosa. Because Thunder Rosa, then right after this, beats Jasmine Allure in about 32 seconds. It was very quick, very to the point, and I believe it was on Dark this week. She spoke on that actually. She spoke on the she spoke on wanting the NWA title and the AEW title. Like she's in for both. And Serena Deeb returns next week, so maybe she gets her NWA title back. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I think you can tell that Thunder Rosa and her
would be the problem.
I don't want them to go right away to it.
Because I want Baker to have that long run, and I do want Thunder Rosa to stop her because I would love to see a double champion in Thunder Rosa. I think that'd be great. I mean, listen, I love Baker and all that as the heel. I just think to carry on I think giving Thunder Rosa double titles later down the line is definitely a better outcome for them.
Yeah, without doubt. And then so we get to our final match, the main event of the day. We get it's the title that's been running the main event, and I'm very happy about it.
So before we get to the main event, they did announce at least one of the matches, if I don't remember two, for Double or Nothing. Before this happened, they announced the Casino Battle Royal, and
which
Sydal and Christian Cage. Yep, and Matt Sydal. They announced those two, and then they also announced a rematch. I saw the rematch. I don't know if they announced it on Dynamite. I don't remember seeing it, but maybe they did, and I'm just forgetting it. It was Brian Cage versus Hangman Adam Page in a rematch of him getting screwed out. So that is also Double or Nothing.
Oh yeah, it's none of my notes. It was a segment with the Dark Order and just saying like,
that's what it was.
Cool,
I remember that,
losing.
I didn't remember it.
Page is okay with losing, but if Brian Cage really wants to feel like he earned that victory, come do it by himself instead of a title hitting him in the back of the head, a power bomb on the steps, and half a Team Taz beating him up. Note on that, obviously, sad note for a little while is that Team Taz will be without Ricky Starks for months because he has a fracture in his neck from that hard spot he took in the match against Hangman a few weeks ago. Yeah, when he said he was okay, he's not okay. So
that's sad. Okay, that's another. I love Ricky Starks, man.
But you can make him work. I think you can still make him work on the microphone. In the meantime, if he can, if he's able to do it,
how long is he's out for?
A couple months, because I think it's not. Damn. It's one. It doesn't require surgery, which is good.
But he has to. But
you want it to heal naturally before. Yeah, that's and it's the neck, so let it be.
And before we also get into the winners, the winner of this final match here, don't forget booty butt cheeks, booty butt cheeks,
booty butt cheeks. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Even Sonny was laughing off on that. And that was on Elevation of Dark. I can't remember. It was on one of them. When the Acclaimed, it was Dark. It was the final match of Dark when Acclaimed, or second to the final match when the Acclaimed took on Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. And a great match, by the way. But Caster coming out with that rap and then just shaking and saying booty butt cheeks over and over again. I was dying.
Taz was like on the floor laughing. Just go booty butt cheeks. It was great. And also, I guess there's weirdly a lot of stuff happened before this. So with that Christian Cage thing, he said, Tony Khan gave me an open contract. So Team Taz pick a member and sign it. I believe this was probably supposed to be where Stark signed up.
I agree.
But obviously with him can't. Here comes Matt Sydal. And he said, I signed it for you. Don't worry about it. And Cage, it's weird. Christian Cage is kind of heelish in his promos to me because they said like,
He's
"Oh, you're
bored
entering the battle royale too?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, hopefully, what do you say? Hopefully you don't fall flat." Because last year's was when he took
Yeah,
that he just whip. So
yeah, because of how
it's kind
sweaty
of
the
like,
ropes were.
yeah, it's kind of nutty, like because he has a lot of heel sounds. Like he literally called Taz fat again. He did that one. He said
He's
like
so
him
he's borderline
critiquing
heel
my
face is what he
yeah.
is. He's not
But
a full
in a good
heel
way.
because AEW doesn't really have heels and faces, sort of say, but
No.
like he definitely plays the in between.
Yeah, but he's
Really,
still
really
coming out of
well.
the face tunnel. That's what we know. As
Exactly.
long as he's
Also,
coming out of the face tunnel, he's not a heel yet.
he's still face. And also, if no one has noticed yet, I talked about, I forgot to bring up last week, VSK, who's been on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, also wrestles on Impact, if you haven't noticed. Just
Yes,
put
he
it out
did.
there. He was on Impact this week, or last week, was it?
I
Or
saw
both.
one. He put in there like
He was on
hard
last
work.
week. This week's actually tonight, but he was on last week. So just so you know, that they're really cross promoting him, but he does wrestle on both shows. So good for him.
Get your money, man. So here we go. Main event time. It is Miro against Darby Allin. And of course, with me, thankfully, I only watched this match about an hour ago because everything went wrong. So I watched the Darby Miro match. So basically, it comes right out of the bat. Darby gets he does a little promo first. His normal little vignettes he does.
Yeah, but his paint was at the bottom of his face this time around, right?
Yeah, he did like a mask. It was kind of crazy looking. So he comes out with Sting, obviously, which I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what are they doing with Sting. It just seems weird at this point.
Well, you saw at the very end. You know what's happened at the very end. I mean, I'm telling you, double or nothing. You're gonna get Sting taking on Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. They haven't announced it yet, but
no, it's going to be them two. It's going to be.
But they attack Sting at the end. Yeah, they attack Sting at the end. The Dark Order still came out to save him, which I was very confused about somewhat. But the Dark Order came out to save him. I was putting two and two together here, man. It just makes sense. Like it just makes sense.
Because didn't Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky beat up somebody in the Dark Order? I don't know. The Dark Order's in everything. It's just very confusing at this point. I feel
Dark
like
Order's fantastic, no matter what.
They're fantastic. So main event time. Here we go. So they come out. Miro doesn't even wait for the bell. He just starts ragdown the hell out of Darby Allin pretty much everywhere you can find. He's throwing him into this. He's throwing him into that. This poor little man is just getting banked off of everything. He doesn't have his damn jacket off yet. Miro also had the TNT title stitched on his trunks, but to pretty much be like, yeah, I'm going to win this thing, which is ballsy. So finally, referee Paul Turner
hasn't lost the match yet,
and he gives him the Darby, are you okay? And Darby's like, maybe. I don't know.
He goes, because I'm always ready, no matter what.
Yeah, we're like, you're pretty much dead, fella. But it winds up turning into a very good match after this, where Darby does get his licks in. He shows that he is putting every last bit of effort. That cannonball suicida thing he does scares the shit out of me.
It does, but he didn't get destroyed like Cody did to Brody Lee, which was nice.
No,
like
because you kept him strong. Like the whole point of a Darby Allin match is this guy is going to be able to withstand more pain than anybody
else. Yeah, exactly. That's they played his character way better on this.
Yeah, it's the Jeff Hardy. It's the Jeff Hardy thing where it's he's going to do things where you're like, Jesus, this guy's not dead yet, and like he's going to continuously be able to do that. So he fought very hard. He got him with a couple of those flippity-doo stunners where he flips over the top and then hits him with a couple stunners. He got him with that cannonball where he like darts out, and if you move him a little bit, he's going to go dead ass into the cage. Then obviously you see they pan over to Paige and Sky laughing in the seat, so okay, foreshadowing, they're going to be around. There was a crazy cool part of this match I will give for the whole Sting thing, where it was after it doesn't matter what Darby was putting in, Miro was just smashing him. And he was leaning up against the ropes, and he looked over at Sting. And Sting looked at him, and they both kind of were looking at each other like, dude, you can't win every match, basically. It was like that. It's okay to lose this one. You've given it your all. You're not going to be able to beat this guy.
The look
and he gave him They gave
Yeah, the
each other
fist
like a
bump.
good fist bump real quick, like thanks.
You knew that was it.
And he went in and gave his last ditch effort, which was very good. He dodged a bunch of stuff.
He
But
hit
then
another
at the end
stunner
of the
there, wasn't
day,
it? Is that when he
he
hit
hits another
They
stunner.
went
He
for
does
the
a couple
coffin
like
drop.
he hit that. He goes at that coffin drop and it turns into a German suplex. And then
No, it turned.
actually, did it
I
go to
thought-
the German and turned right into
no.
game over?
He went to the game over, but he turned the game over into a bend because instead of doing the game over, he literally bent Darby's body in half in the middle of the game over, which,
And
by
it
the
was
way,
also very smart too. Like
anything.
it put him out instead of the other way around.
Exactly.
I was hoping I wasn't going to see him tap. I was like, oh,
and we didn't.
And he didn't. He died because he was bent ways humans are not meant to be bent. So it made him he was out. Nothing you can do. Even someone as hardcore as Darby has a chance of just, being done. It's just too much. So I think you're going to get that. But obviously, right away, hey, winner Miro. Here comes Paige. They're beating that. They're kicking Sting in the legs, and then here comes the Dark Order to save them. So that yes, obviously, I feel like give that a week, and you're going to see a Double or Nothing tag team match between Sting and Darby versus Paige and Sky.
Yep, I agree.
And we'll see what comes from that. But what was very cool was the end in honor of Big E, right? In honor of Big E, who on their podcast has said many times, Cal Goldberg versus who was it, like Goldberg versus somebody. Undertaker would be like big beefy men slapping meats. Okay, big beefy men slapping meats together, which is basically what we're now going to get with the TNT title.
Lance Archer against Miro.
You were getting those matches where, like, yes, did Darby fight some tall guys? Yes, but like it was like how does he survive the big man? Now you have a big man, which means you can develop these matches against some of the other big men. You can have him and Archer. You can have him and Cage, even. Like, you can have a Brian Cage versus Miro. You can have Miro versus Hager. Miro versus Wardlow.
Miro, I'm just mad because it's. I would have liked to see Lance Archer win the title, and he hasn't won it. He's already lost it once in the original thing in the tournament, and like I would rather have him won it earlier instead of doing this. Like, you're jumping right in this. If anyone's going to beat Miro, I'd rather be Lance Archer than anybody on that roster, honestly. I mean, Brian Cage is going too. I'm not saying that, but I think Lance Archer has put his dues, and I think he deserves that.
Oh,
for a little bit.
So I think that you're going to start to see big man matches, and I think since the heel has the title, again, it's not going to be defended every week. It's not going to be the main event every week. Isn't going to be Miro is going to defend his title.
Exactly.
It's going to be so. Overall, I think it was a very good episode. There's a lot into it. Obviously not their best episode, but you have to start building. There's a pay-per-view in 3 weeks or something like that. So with Double or Nothing coming up on the 30th, you had to build a bunch, and then your show is going to be kind of wonky the next few weeks. And I think they're building things around knowing that they're going to have a full crowd. It gives it a different feel when like certain things are going to be full crowd.
From what I've seen, July, they're looking to be at shows like they're traveling in July. I think it was July 14th. I think it's their first show.
Texas, and Miami, because they're the states where they've already been open. So
they also have I think before Double or Nothing, there's a meet and greet with everybody, or something. Maybe not before, but like they have a random show that we could try out to Jacksonville, Jeff, and check it out. Anyway, I gotta get out of here.
I'm with
just
you on
gotta get out of here. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff. And we'll be back next week with another AEW review.
Yeah, I'll see you then. Arrivederci. Bye.
Adios.